Hi dear students, good morning. Welcome back to the another biology session in Anand Medical Academy. In this session, I am going to teach you about the rest of part in carbohydrates, that is polysaccharides. You just recall the last two video sessions in carbohydrates. We discussed about monosaccharides in first video session and disaccharides and other oligosaccharides with respective examples in the second video session, followed by polysaccharides. By this video, I am going to complete entire the details about carbohydrates and later we will go through protein structures. Without let me start polysaccharides today. Guys, here some points are there to define and describe about the carbohydrates. One by one, let me discuss. Firstly, greater than 10 or above monosaccharides having sugar complexes are called carbohydrates. So we can call up, that was the definition for polysaccharides. Clear? So polysaccharides are having ten units of monomers. Here they are given 4, but you just assume minimum 10 and maximum 2 lakhs also will be present in one structure of polysaccharide. That is what definition. Secondly, they may be branched or unbranched. The number is no matter. There may be straight, completely linear, they have only 2 ends. This is called unbranched, whereas some are branched. In this case, they show some branching structures. Laterally, they have some chain-like structures. This is branched polysaccharide. Let us see their examples in the time of classification, not now. So this is unbranched polysaccharide. So that is what we are presenting from second point. Third point is they have reducing and non-reducing ends. What is reducing end? What is non-reducing end? So carbohydrates, no matter its length, but if this is, you think this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side. Any end, if they have free aldehyde or free ketone group, then that is called reducing sugar. If there is no any free groups like aldehyde or ketose, then that is called non-reducing sugar. Mostly all monosaccharides are reducing sugars. All disaccharides except sucrose. Sucrose is non-reducing sugar. Very important point this is. All maximum of carbohydrates are reducing sugars except sucrose. Why sucrose is not reducing sugar? Because it doesn't have any free functional group like a ketone or aldehyde. That's why it is called non-reducing sugar. Because of the character of non-reducing sugar, sucrose will be used to identify the ketones present in the urine in some diagnostic tests. As we are discussing polysaccharides, here I should mention that all polysaccharides are reducing sugars. But one end they have a reducing sugar, another end they have a non-reducing sugar. Where does the reducing sugar is present? Means right hand side. Non-reducing sugar is present at left hand side. Okay. Example, if this is a complete polysaccharide, minimally it have a 10 monosaccharides and maximally it may have 2 lakhs. But their ends are 2. I repeat, no matter the length of polysaccharide, but they have one right hand, one left hand. Right hand side, they have a reducing sugar. Reducing sugar means what? Free ketone or aldehyde groups are available. That's why they can reduce their structures in the reactions. Whereas there were no free ketone or aldehyde groups. That's why at the left hand side they have non-reducing sugars. Ends, nothing but non-reducing ends are present at left side reducing ends are present at, that's why we can call up polysaccharides have both reducing and non-reducing ends. The next one, they are generally large sized. Due to these structures, they have a more or less insoluble. So in the water, they are least insoluble and some are never be insoluble. Okay, but their nature is insoluble except one polysaccharide, that name is inulin. Other than inulin, all are insoluble in nature. Last point, let me explain that they exist in two kinds based on the structures. If we discuss about classification of polysaccharides, what are different types of polysaccharides? I have to say according to their structures. Let us see what are the different types of polysaccharides. Types of carbohydrates. If you see the classification of polysaccharides, classification of polysaccharides. According to the composition or compaction of types of monosaccharides, there are two types. One is homopolysaccharides. On the other side, heteropolysaccharides. Clear? So, on which basis the polysaccharides has been classified? Compaction of types of monosaccharides. Okay, in the homopolysaccharides structure, no matter here what is the number, but all are same type of monosaccharides. So, homopolysaccharides having same kind of monosaccharides. Suppose all may be glucose, or all may be fructose, or all may be galactose, but whatever the number, all are same type of monosaccharides, then that is called homopolysaccharide. One should understand that homo. Homo means what? Equal. All are same. Equal or same. Meaning will be appeared here. On the other hand, hetero. One should observe this term here. So, hetero is reflecting different or dissimilar. Here, homo is representing similar and hetero is representing different or dissimilar. All structures, all monosaccharides present in this structure are same. Hence, it is called homopolysaccharide. Whereas here, the heteropolysaccharide, if you see, maybe it is the glucose, then followed by a fructose, and followed by a galactose, and followed by mannose, and again followed by a glucose, like this. So, in one structure, different types of monosaccharides are existing. Both are polysaccharides. These polysaccharide structures are compact but composed of same type of or similar type of monosaccharides. These carbohydrates or polysaccharides are also compact structures or complex structures, but in their structure, not only one type of monosaccharides are exist, more than one type of monosaccharides are exist in that structure. Then it is called heteropolysaccharide. What is heteropolysaccharide? They have a dissimilar kind of or different kind of monosaccharides. They are having different kinds of monosaccharides in its structure. Then, what are the examples for them? If you see, example 1 is starch. Example 2 is glycogen. Example 3 is inulin, and fourth example is cellulose, and last example is chitin. Starch, glycogen, inulin, cellulose, chitin. All these are belongs to homopolysaccharides. Here one more important point I am telling you. All these are homopolysaccharides, but all these are not made up of glucose. In the starch, maybe every monomer or monosaccharide is maybe glucose. But in the glycogen also, all are maybe glucose. In inulin, all are fructose. But they have only one type of monosaccharides repeatedly with the glycosidic bond. The structures were established. But don't think all these monomers are belongs to glucose. That is wrong perception. Whereas other examples here, examples for heteropolysaccharide, number one is peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. Number two is mucopolysaccharide. Mucopolysaccharide. So this is the fundamental part at the differentiation. A fundamental classification of polysaccharides. Let me discuss each and every polysaccharide and their importance and their structures detailedly. Let me discuss the first category of polysaccharides. They are homopolysaccharides. In that first example is starch. I guess, do you know something about the starch? Starch is a storage food material in plants. Storage form in plants. It shows blue color when react with iodine. With the iodine solution, the starch represents blue color. Starch have two forms. One is branched, another one is unbranched. In some books, generally starch will be mentioned as branched. That is absolutely wrong. Starch have two forms. Let us see what are the forms. The first form is amylose. Second form is amylopectin. Amylose and amylopectin both are belongs to starch, whereas amylose is 20 to 30% of starch in the nature, whereas the most abundant starch is amylopectin, which is about 70 to 80% in the nature. Then amylose differentiating with amylopectin in three characters. Number one is amylose is unbranched. Amylose is unbranched, whereas amylopectin is branched. If you see their structures, amylose is also made up of glucose. Amylopectin also made up of glucose. But here glucose monomers also exhibits some branches. There are no branches here. All these are glucose molecules. Amylose is glucose unbranched homopolysaccharide, and amylopectin is glucose branched homopolysaccharide. This is the first difference. The second thing is amylose is soluble in nature, whereas amylopectin is insoluble in nature. Third difference is it is less readily digested and it is more readily digested. Have you observed the key differences between amylose and amylopectin? Listen carefully. Amylose and amylopectin both are belongs to starch. What is starch? Starch is generally homopolysaccharide. So amylose and amylopectin both have one similarity, that is homopolysaccharides. But amylose is unbranched homopolysaccharide. Amylopectin is branched homopolysaccharide. It exists almost 20 to 30% in nature, and most abundant starch in the storage form is amylopectin. And it is soluble in the water, soluble in water, it is insoluble in water, and it is less readily digested and it is more readily digested. Maximum plants are stored the food in amylose and amylopectin, but it is less readily digested and it is more readily digested. This is what about the first homopolysaccharide, that is starch. Next thing is glycogen. Glycogen, commonly called animal starch. Why? Plant storage food is starch, but animal also could able to store their energy source in form of carbohydrate, that is glycogen. Glycogen generally found in fungal cells, muscle cells and liver cells. Liver cells are also called hepatocytes. Hepatocytes. Hepato means what? Liver. Of vertebrates. Where does glycogen exist? In fungal cells and muscle cells, liver cells of the vertebrate. The glycogen is a energy source for glucose. Generally, the glycogen is made up of glucose, so that it is called glucose polymer. It is highly compact compared to the starch. That's why it is also available in branched form. So we already seen one branch structure just before, that is amylopectin, right? Compared to the amylopectin, this is most complex. Sub-branches are also exist. You can observe here now. Amylopectin have only branches, but it has sub-branches. Due to the presence of sub-branches, it gives so much compaction compared to the both amylase and amylopectin. Now, this glucose molecules converted into glycogen by a hormone is called insulin. Whereas once glucose is stored in the liver, whenever glucose percentage less in the blood, then glycogen converts and form glucose by a hormone called glucagon. Glucagon is a hormone which helps to convert the glycogen into glucose. Glycogen is an animal starch. Whenever during fasting, whenever you avoid the food, that time generally one source is there in our body, majorly that present in the liver, and minor source of the glycogen in our body is muscle cells. So from the glycogen, glucose molecules will be liberated by the action of glucagon. When glucose levels are increasing in our blood, the glucose will be stored in liver as a form of glycogen by the help of insulin. One more important point is glycogen is also insoluble branched homopolysaccharide. This is a combination. Insoluble branched homopolysaccharide. This is about glycogen. Let us say the next one. Third homopolysaccharide is inulin. Guys, just before you heard a term that is insulin. Insulin is a hormone. Inulin is a homopolysaccharide. So here S is absent. There S was present. That is hormone. This is polysaccharide. Don't confuse. Inulin is a homopolymer or homopolysaccharide which consists of fructose. What is fructose? Ketose, hexose. So this is unbranched. All are fructose sugar molecules. Unbranched. And it is soluble polysaccharide. Yet you have seen soluble polysaccharides that are two. One is amylose, second one is inulin. But amylose is a polymer of glucose, inulin is a polymer of fructose. That is the difference. Next one, fourth one, that is cellulose. Cellulose is most abundant sugar or organic compound in living organisms, whether in the plants or animals. In entire the living world, cellulose is most abundant organ. Where does the cellulose is present? It exists in the cell wall structure of algae and plants. Cellulose is unbranched homopolymer. It is insoluble in nature. Another important thing about the cellulose is we cannot digest the cellulose in our digestive system by any enzyme, because to digest this polymer or to digest this polysaccharide we need an enzyme called cellulase. Over the process of evolution of human, cellulase enzyme producing organ appendix become vestigial, so that cellulase enzyme was absent. And fifth homopolysaccharide, that is chitin. Chitin is second most abundant organic material or polysaccharide. Where does the chitin exist? Chitin exists in cell wall of fungi and also exoskeleton of insects. Just like a cockroach, they are insects. They have a very hard body cover that is made up of chitin. This chitin is also present as a gelatinous layer inside the digestive tract of so many insects. So chitin is another important polymer, homopolymer, and chitin is also non-branched. It is also highly insoluble and it exists in cell wall of fungi and exoskeletons of insects. That's why insects are protecting from the lot of changes happens in their surroundings or environment. What you have seen at all these are the homopolysaccharides. Let us have a look about heteropolysaccharides. We have seen there were two heteropolysaccharides I mentioned. Number one is peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. Here a terminology plays important role. Glycan means polysaccharide. Homopolysaccharides can be called as homoglycan. Heteropolysaccharides can be called up as heteroglycan. But what is this name? Peptidoglycan. Glycan means carbohydrate that belongs to polysaccharide. No doubt. Then peptido means what? Protein. It belongs to protein. So carbohydrate and protein. So this is combination of protein plus carbohydrate. That's why it is hetero. More than that, in this structure, NAM and NAG structures will be present. means they are chemical compositions. What is NAM and what is NAG? These two are derivatives of glucose. NAM full form is N-acetyl muramic acid. N-acetyl muramic acid is a derivative of NAM, glucose, and NAG full form is N-acetyl glucosamine. Both are derivatives of glucose but are structurally different, and in this structure NAM next followed by NAG and it is followed by NAM. Just like alternatively these two structures are present, that's why it is heteropolysaccharide and unbranched. Where does this polysaccharide is existing in the nature means very important here, that is a bacteria cell wall. Exists in bacterial cell wall. Because of the peptidoglycan, bacteria cell wall is rigid. Rigid means what? Tough. That's why a bacteria can sustain in our body longer time and also can infect our immune cells. Sometimes they also dominate and cause disease. Bacteria cell wall is the toughest part in entire the structure of its prokaryotic organization. Then this peptidoglycan is not helps in the storage, it is structural polysaccharide. Whereas you have seen that is cellulose or starch or glycogen or inulin or amylose or amylopectin, all these helps in storage in somewhere, whether it is in plants or animals. But except chitin. Chitin is also structural protein, but chitin is structural homopolysaccharide, whereas peptidoglycan is structural heteropolysaccharide. This is what the major difference. Even both are polysaccharides, both are helping in formation of structures in plants and animals or any other living organisms. That is, what is that? Chitin is structural homopolysaccharide and peptidoglycan is structural heteropolysaccharide. That is very important difference one should understand. When question comes, no need to confuse. Whereas chitin has only NAM. Notice it. Chitin is a homopolysaccharide. It has the units of derivative of glucose molecules, that is only NAM units are present in the chitin, but here NAM and NAG is present, that is why it is heteropolysaccharide. I hope you understand. Now the last one is mucopolysaccharide. Now the last one, that is mucopolysaccharide. And the last heteropolysaccharide is that is what? Mucopolysaccharide. Mucopolysaccharide is gelatinous. Example, agarose. It is a very good medium. In laboratories it will be used to culture the bacteria. It is a nutritive medium in which bacteria and other microorganisms can be grown. That is why agarose is laboratory polysaccharide. It is nutritive in nature. Nutritive in nature. By this concept, I can say carbohydrates has been finished. In the next video, I will be with you to discuss about proteins. Get ready. Thank you.